Hello, this is Philosopher signing in again for Z-Blog. And today I want to talk about a topic uh, you may have forgotten about, or you may have recently remembered with everything that's happening right now in our government. It seems like we forgot our what our childhood fears um, are. Specifically my childhood fear. The title of this episode is called Red Flag or Red Scare. Let me start by sharing a little bit about myself. I was homeschooled from the third grade, actually from the fourth grade to the ninth grade. Yeah, so my dad didn't want me to be in public school for several reasons. One of the reasons was the secularization of the education, and in my curriculum it was like Christian curriculum, and they gave me, of course, I had to read literature, but one book in particular that caught my attention. Actually, there was two, but I can remember only the name of one. Was called God Smuggler. Basically, tells a story about this brother named Andrew and how he would smuggle Bibles into the Soviet Union. No, in that time, the Bible and every religious literature was banned. They were cracked down and burned. They were beat anybody who was found carrying this Bible. Christians were persecuted because of their faith. As you read Jesus Freak, the book Jesus Freak, there said many instances where Christians were persecuted and killed even for spreading the word of God. And also I had this and also I remember watching China Cry over there in talk about the rise of about the Communist Party in China and how it suppressed religious literature and cracked down on Christians. The Christians had to go underground, had to make services in silence, so to speak. So I grew up having a real fear of communism. To me, communism and religious persecution were synonymous. There was no difference to me. I remember I was so afraid that one time they did a drama in camp. I forgot what year it was, but camp they did a drama. I didn't know it was a drama, but several men dressed up in camouflage suits walked from stormed the doors and started shouting, and they had guns and they were communists, of course, communist revolutionary guerrillas, and I didn't know it was drama back then, so I got real scared. So it was impressed on my mind. So all my childhood up until high school, when I returned back to Uh, when I went to a charter school, I had a real fear of communism. But then I started learning about the Cold War, and then starting the impression to me that this fear I had was really product of the propaganda of the U.S. During the Red Scare. There was a lot of fear of the communists taking over the United States. You know, Joseph McCarthy labeling those he saw as threats as communists, and accusing them of being spies. And so this is nothing to worry about. This is just we just had a bad impression about communism. But then I can start to get into economics, no, and consequently it was during the housing bubble burst, which was around 2006, and I started learning about the economic structures. The two prominent was being socialism and capitalism. So how socialism is basically the control of the government of the nation's wealth. There's no private property, and I began to connect the dots. I would see that government began to take the wealth of a person to give it to another, and they control the nation's wealth, and so that everybody can have equal amount of wealth. So we have to see how economic policies paralleled, no, civil liberties. How as government grew bigger and bigger, it became more tyrannical. So this fear of communism and socialism has returned, and more so that I begin to see in the White House, in the cabinet, and the president begin to appoint more and more people who despise the free market. The free market is basically that it is private businesses that control the nation's wealth, not the government. We to see more and more people that despise the free market, and like Van Jones, Cass Sunstein, Mark Lloyd. There's a lot of Anita Dunn, and who's very political philosopher, is Chairman Mao, which is the chairman of the Communist Party. You see, we get to see all these new appointments. So people who share this social and political perspective with communist revolutionaries, and I begin to more and more become more afraid, because if these people are in places of influence, how are policies going to be made? Where are we going? And to some of you, they may not seem a big deal. I'll say, oh, politics as usual. But no, to me, in my background, it's something troubling. And I advise you to take a better look at the appointments that the president makes and see what kind of philosophies they have. And that's it for today. I hope I piqued your interest.